Oh, well, good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday, Palm Sunday. Well, if you change your mind, let me know. Just talking to a friend of mine. Anyhow, good morning, everybody. Can we maybe bring this? There we go. I like that. That way I'm more. Yep, I like that. That's better. That's better. Yes. Anyhow, good morning, everybody. We're going to be finishing this book. I'm at page 338. And we got roughly so I might consider reading the rest of this too. So if that's the case, about 100, close to 100 pages yet to go. So right here. A couple things to note about this book. It was due back yesterday, but so was the other one. I can't remember what the book was called. It was Dean Koontz's newest book that's out, right? And I thought, yeah, oh, the bad weathered man, or no, the bad weathered friend. That's what it was called. And I thought, I mean, I only have, I think, one book of his called Intensity. Well, go get the ball. It's called Intensity, and I have yet to read it. But I'm also thinking that I would get into reading at least one book of mine per month. It does not matter if it's a series or what, because I also have books that are series too, or groups that are series or books. Anyway, so yeah, so right now we got to the point where the four judges in the tavern, strange place to be in a courtship, where they're handing down a sentence or they're listening to testimony at a tavern, where you drink. But this is back in the 1700s, so I guess anything's possible. But anyway, we just find out that they handed down the sentence for Rebecca Foster, and they exalted him, the guy that raped her, and the judges are basically saying, how dare, I mean, come on, she doesn't even show up for, her testimony. The guy that raped her is getting off scot-free, and it's like, well, anybody could have done that. Really? Really? Yeah, okay. It's like women do not have any rights, no passage, no anything. And I was so disheartened because where is it in the book? Oh, right here. Oh, yeah. It says, Payne, Payne, which happens to be one of the judges. He pushes his spectacles. Oh, he gives it to Sumner, which happens to be another judge. He pushes his spectacles onto the bridge of his nose. We, the jury, he reads, voice certain and clear, declare the defendant, one Colonel Joseph North, acquitted on the charge of attempted rape. As it appears, concerns one Mistress Rebecca Foster. When I read that, I was like, seriously? There's no justice for women. None. You know, what do you expect? Do you expect this one lady that is bedridden, out to here with a child, to come to court to tell the court that, yeah, dude fucking raped me. And they're like, yeah, we do. But without the vulgarities. But yeah. Yeah, we do. We expect you to come to court in your state and provide us testimony. Which is crazy. You know it's crazy, don't you? I do. I do. Oh yes. There we go. Done with that. I was looking for. There we go. Maybe. Nope. Still nothing. Anyhow, trying to. There we are. Finally. Yeah. Anyhow, so on with the chapter. Darwin's Wharf, Sunday, April 18th. The good part about this is that she before all of this, her son, Ephraim, he literally got, what was it? He got a sickness. Yeah. Yeah. The plague fell upon the house during the hottest days of the summer. Diphtheria? That old wicked scourge. Yeah. Yeah. It was bad. Anyhow. So, is it twins? Yeah. Why lying on her back in a soft white shift? I run my fingers across the wide expanse of her swollen belly. She is 6 months pregnant, but looks 8. I feel only one head. I press my fingers into my side, just above her hip bones, right here and there. I slide my palm to the other side and cup another small mound. Its backside? Finally. I tap the base of May's ribs and little feet right there, right here, which I'm sure you can feel. Constantly, she laughs. But I'm so big. There must be two. No, your belly is big. Rest is the rest of you is quite little. May is small and narrow, and she carries every inch of her baby out front. I think this might suggest a boy. There is some truth to the old wives' tales, but I don't mention it aloud. I have long since learned not to raise a woman's hopes. If they want one thing, they almost certainly get the other. Basically, a wives' tale of having a boy versus a girl. It's just the way you carry, I tell her. Your ribs haven't spread, so you're going straight. You're so you're going out straight inside of wide. Is that bad? My ribs? No. I give her a reassuring smile and continue the examination, poking and prodding. Does anything hurt? Only on my back, and it's only sometimes, like when I walk or sit or stand. Another laugh. This this one helpless, as if to say, "When can I do?" Roll to your side. May heaves herself over with a grunt, and I work my fingers across the dip of her back. Where? Lower, near my ah. I pat the top of her bottom the way I might with a baby, and May giggles. Yes, there. The baby is putting pressure on your back. You might ask Sam to rub it a bit at night, if you wouldn't mind. I can only see her profile, but a dimple breaks that one cheek. It's never taken much convincing for him to put his hands on my arse. I'm delighted that May is comfortable enough with me to joke. There is nothing more important in a birthing room than trust. I'll make sure to tell him myself as well before I leave. Where is he? May pushes May pushes up on her elbow and blows a strand of hair out of her eyes. The barn. Woke, working on the yoke, I think. He wants to start training the next oxen at first thaw. I look out the window to the ditty gray landscape and the pines no longer frosted with white. Hollowell shows every indication of going from ice directly to mud. He's optimistic, I say. He's a farmer. He has to be. I help May off. I help May off the bed and back into her dress. Together, we go downstairs, and I leave her with a syrup of goldenrod and burberry to help reduce the swelling in her ankles. Only only 1 teaspoon per day, and any more than that, you'll be thirsty. I instruct. Take it just before bed so it can work overnight. But don't be surprised if you are up several times to use the chamber pot. May thanks me, then sees me to the door, and I'm startled to realize the air is neither frigid nor unwelcoming. I drape my riding cloak over my arm instead of my shoulders. Brutus is tied in the hitching pot, fidgety and kicking at a dirty mound of old snow. Just give me a moment, I tell him. Then we'll go. I walk around the side of the house and toward the barn. I I can hear Sam inside, banging on something and cursing rather artfully. You piece of shit! You broken, filthy cock robin. Loud thumbs, two loud thumbs as though something heavy has been dropped, then kicked. Dirty bastard! Uncertain that what I might find inside, I tapped the barn door with my knuckles before stepping through. I was right about the kicking. The oxen yoke lies on the barn floor, bent at a strange angle, and Sam gives it one more good whack with his boot. He's been at it for quite a while by the looks of him. Hair askew, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, and shirt damp from sweat along his back. I've never I've I've never known a thing to get sick by being kicked, they say. What's wrong with it? Sam looked up, startled, then he points at the beam. The beam is twisted. And cursing it helps? I helps me helps me feel better about being stupid enough to leave it out all winter and get wet and warped onto the snow. Sam shrugs and lifts the heavy piece of wood off the ground to hang it on a rack by the stall. His forearms are bare, veined, and covered with the same coarse red hair that sits on his head. Let me pay you, he says, shoving his hand to his pocket. When he pulls it out, there in a mishmash of things in his palm. An old buttoned, rusted nail, a chunk of salt, a stripe, a strip of tattered lace, and an arrowhead, a piece of twine, and a handful of coins. The flotsam and jetsam typical of any man who works with his hands throughout the day. He starts to count out the money. Save your fee until the child is born, I tell him. These visits are included. He looks at his palm and frowns, but he doesn't argue as he returns a collection of odds and ends to his pocket. His hands are filthy from work, and when he notices my careful observation, he drags them down the front of his shirt. How is May? He asks. Very pregnant and comfortable, I say. She's well, though? Nothing's wrong? She thinks that she's carrying twins. The look on Sam's face is of abject terror. Is she? Just the one, as far as I can tell, though it doesn't seem to be rather large like its father. Is that dangerous? Not any more than two small ones, I smile. But there is something she needs. Sam lets out a long relief sigh. What? The back rub, as many times a day as you can manage. A lot of the weight is against her lower spine, and she's little to start with. There's nowhere for the baby to go. So the discomfort she's feeling might begin to move down her leg. I can do that. Good. And call for me if she's in regular pain. Sam walks me to the kitchen walls, and we say goodbye. Someone calls my name in a tone of voice that can be only described as object fairy. Where is it, Cats? Oh, here it is. Martha Ballard? I flinch, baby, because I know that voice. So I'm close my eyes and gather my wits because he is one of the last people I want to speak with this particular moment. But he repeats my name, angry this time. And when I look up at Sam Darwin, I see that the storm has gathered in his eyes, and his fists are clenched. Perhaps he has grown fond of me after all, or at least protective. William Pierce sits astride his horse, glaring at me. Mr. Pierce, I nod, as polite as I'm able to. How can I help you? You can come with me. I'm not in the habit of taking orders. Then let today be your first, because Sally is dying, and it's your fault. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's her fault that Sally Pierce is dying. Well, whoever joined me, thank you. Say hello if you want. Sally isn't dying, I tell William Pierce. She's in labor. Pray tell how that would be my fault. Instead of answering me, he looks to his wife, and what passes between them is a kind material shorthand known to every couple who has been wed for any length of time. They can read each other's expression, the light of the lift of an eyebrow, the flare of a nostril, gritted teeth and lifted chin, and eyes that gloss over with anger and fear. Volumes pass between them before William points his fingers at her. You can explain it, he orders. And then he turns on his heel and leaves the bedroom, slamming the door and out of his up on his way out. Yes, I love you. This is what happens when you're a big girl, baby boy, no matter the age, in your house, and paw prints on your heart. Mm, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get a refill on my coffee. Today is Sunday. Today is the day just to relax, enjoy, and let the snow fall. Ah, yes. Yes, I love you. Ah. There we go. I don't know where it is. You're gonna have to bring it over in here. I don't care. You can growl at me until you can't anymore. Well, oh, fine. I'll get it. You little stinker. Little stinker. Please excuse my husband, Bonnie Pierce says. Just want to make sure I'm still on. Yep, I am. She is unperturbed by this outburst. William is a sort of man built for having sons. Instead, he's got five. He got five daughters. He's never quite got the hang of it. There's no one to blame but him. Sally is your youngest. He had plenty of time. You can give a man all the time in the world, but he's never really ready for his daughter to turn up pregnant. He wasn't with the others, and it's not no different with Sally. Well, this is it. Well, isn't this a day of revelations? How long have you known? I ask. Almost 3 months. I discovered her secret the day after North's second hearing in January. I walked in on her while she was standing in with a wash tub. There was no hiding it then. And did you tell William? Not right off. Bonnie levels me with an appraising glance. Looks me over head to toe. There is a frankness in it that I appreciate. He would have been only he would have only been angry with Sally. We kept it from him as long as we could. We know for he's known for a month. It's hard to hide a pregnancy that long. My husband is many things, Mrs. Ballard, but attentive is not one of them. And it is winter, and we all do what we can to stay warm. She's tall and stays bundled. It would have been harder in summer, no doubt. You do not seem so much distressed by her condition, Bonnie shrugs. It's more accepting than nonchalant, but still, I am surprised given William's pious outrage in court this year. She didn't get into the situation by herself. Sally's forehead is beaded with sweat, and her eyes are scrunched close. She does not see the curious glance I throw in her direction. Are you saying this child was forced upon her? Bonnie laughs. Not to hear her tell it, from what I can gather. My daughter was an enthusiastic participant, and stone settles to the pit of my stomach. Mentally, I turned back the clock. The last time I saw Sally was at the hearing at the end of January. Her father had forced her to testify again about all she'd overheard the day I was in Rebecca's sitting room. The blizzard was howling in from the east, and I thought nothing of the fact that she'd worn her riding cloak during the hearing. Half the people in Pollard's had done the same that day. 6 months. She would have been roughly 6 months pregnant, give or take. How did I not know? And at the frolic a week earlier, I only remember thinking that she looked rather buxom, that her dress had been cut to accentuate the part of her figure. Had it been loosened elsewhere? There was nary a whisper in that room about her changing figure because no one had noticed, because no one had seen her since, because because this is my first book that I'm reading of Ariel Lawhon. I think that's how you pronounce her last name, Lawhon. And I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying it. All five of the Pierce girls inherited their looks from their mother. The auburn hair and the hazel eyes and the full lips. The height they got from their father. However, and this, I think more than anything else, has enabled Sally to keep her secret. A long body coupled with a long torso and a generous bosom can hide a manipulate of sins. Multitude, not manipulate, multitude of sins, especially early in first pregnancy. Sally, I ask. She sees she sees this writhing on the bed and looks at me, then shrinks back, her pretty eyes concluded with pain. She is afraid, both of what is happening to her and of me as well. When I set a hand upon her bare foot, her flinch confirms the suspicion, and this saddens me nearly to the point of tears. I have never heard I have never had a laboring woman respond to me this way. I have only seen relief in their eyes. There's something I must ask you. No, she shakes her head. The father, Bonnie whispers. She thinks you're asking about the father. I've done the same 100 times at least. She'd tell me nothing other than that she loves him and went to bed willingly. If you can get it out of her, then you're more of a miracle worker than people say. I'm not about I'm not asking you about the father, I tell Sally. Not yet, I think. Sally visibly relaxes. What then? She she pants. This conversation would have been made far easier 3 hours ago before transition and the worldly sense of agony it brings. The brain ceases to function. The body knows nothing but pain and the desperate need for survival. Lucy, my oldest daughter, has 3 times forgotten her own name in transition. Names and numbers cease to exist. Reality shrinks to the point of primal existence. I need to I need to know if this child is early or late. I need to know when you last bled. The life of your baby may depend on it. It is a miserable thing I'm asking of Sally Pierce as she lies on her bed, head thrown back, beading on her lip. I do not think of myself as an unkind person, but this is perhaps the cruelest thing I have ever done, asking a liberating woman to do math. Summer, the worst the world is the word is hissed. Summer. The word is hissed out between clenched teeth, and I wipe a bit of spittle off my chin with the wrist. Mid-July, I think. I count backward and I'm relieved to determine that we are well within the window of viability. She's at term. Bonnie Pierce clears her throat. I stopped checking and keeping track of their cycle years ago. It wasn't your job to do so. I know nothing about motherhood other than children will do will do what they will do, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. So far as I can remember, my mother never cursed in all her 68 years, and I'm by no means a sailor. But I find that every year that passes, I grow more comfortable with the art. And if I never really liked Bonnie Pierce before now, I'm sorry because she laughs at that. Every one of my girls has found themselves in this position, When I look at her in surprise, she laughs again. Didn't know that, did you? None of them had hid it nearly this long, but yes, all of them took a turn around a hayloft once or twice and ended up thick at the waist before their wedding. I just didn't. She pauses to gather her thoughts. With the others, I knew that they were up to. My oldest daughter as well, I say. And if two women can become friends with one admission, we just have. Time will tell with the others. Bonnie Pierce shrugs. I've always wondered if it was a trait I passed on to them. William married me quickly, of course, but I wasn't much of a maid when he did. I had attempted to tell them both about the woman that Ephraim Ballard married and the scandal that enfolded us when Sally screams. Here it is, then. She's ready. It isn't fast and it isn't easy and it isn't enjoyable for a single one of us in that room. It takes Sally Pierce nearly 2 hours to heave her child into the world. The damage is no worse than what I often see in rooms like this. But she will require stitches, that much I'm sure. Hello, little one, I say, if my hands are shaking as I lift the squalling newborn and inspect him. It is only because I know what is coming. I guess the father got the son he wanted. Mm-hmm. He is beautiful, big, healthy, not a single deficiency that I can detect. I want to pull him to my chest, cradle him, kiss his face, sniff the dark, chaotic hair. The instinct is so strong that I hesitate to hand him to his mother. But there is Sally with her arms out, waiting to receive him. The girl who always managed to avoid directly meeting my gaze has no such trouble now. Those big, calculating hazel eyes challenge me to ask the question required by law. She has waited for this moment, defying all other attempts to coerce her into speaking the Father's name. I will not give it so easily, however. I take a different tack instead. After wrapping the baby in soft, clean linen, I hand him to her and watch as she puts him to her breast. I watch her first awkward attempts. I watch the grimace of his and hiss of pain when he finally latches on. I watch Sally watch me, and though it's cruel, I let her squirm in silence. Then I pull then I pull needle and thread from my medicine bag. You shouldn't feel much, I tell her, but if I don't do this, you will bleed for days. The only sound is that of a newborn grunting and gulping as he tries to eat his first meal. Every few seconds, Sally winces, hisses. Yet I don't know if this is because of the vice that has attached to her left nipple or because of my needle. Probably both. There is no bringing new life into this world without pain, however, and sometimes it assaults us at both ends. What did William mean? I asked Bonnie when he told you to explain her situation. He thinks I know who the father is. Do you? Honestly, I haven't the slightest idea who it could be. So one lady gets raped, and and the and the guy gets off, literally and figuratively. This one doesn't know who the father is. I find that there are many mysteries in this world, but you do not consider the father of this child to be one of them. Bonnie Pierce, God bless her, gives me this moment. She does not ask me to clarify, but rather allows me the pure, unadulterated pleasure of stealing every ounce of thunder from her daughter. There is no surprise, and Sally takes no victory. Once the stitches are done and the thread has been clipped, I sit back on my stool, take in the full measure of this girl who has caused such trouble over the last few months. Excuse me. You have a beautiful boy, I tell her. What will you call him? I know the answer already because I have seen the truth of it with my own eyes. Yet it's a hammer to my heart when she speaks the word aloud. His name is Jonathan, after his father. Well, for one, I want to call her Mary. Martha has a child, a grown adult named Jonathan. I'm thinking that's his baby. I really am. Sunday, April 18th. Clear and pleasant. Birth. I was called from the Hook to attend Sally Pierce, who I found to be in labor. She was safe delivered at 1 p.m. of a fine sun. Her travel was severe, but managed well. I well travail happens to be spelled French, like her job, her work. Yeah, it's Travail. So I'm thinking travail. So, with that being said, yeah, but she managed well, and I left her cleverly with her own mother. Sally declared that my son Jonathan was the father of her child. I break the quill. That's how hard I press against the paper. It snaps in half in my hand, and I sit back to watch the ink run down the pad of my thumb. I do not typically pour my feelings into this book of mine, but today there is so much more that I want to say, yet I'm out of ink. I used the last of it just now. I've never left to wander down in the dark to the mill where Ephraim has left the other desk. So I wash my hands instead and go to bed. But I do not sleep. I lie awake. I lie awake, aware that my son never came home tonight, and I wonder if he's out cavorting around, or whether he has gone to meet his no more son. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I might consider buying this. See, I might consider it. I really do. I might consider it. Absolutely. I don't know. We'll see. North Manor, Monday, April 19th. I need another quill and more ink. I meant to send one of the girls down to the mill this afternoon, but they are gone now. My entire brood of children off to the hook to shop and socialize for the evening, and there is no one to run the errand for me. So I gather my journal and make my way down the path. Even now I'm rehearsing how I will tell Ephraim that he has another grandson. I doubt he will be surprised at the news, or even displeased. I have never known a man who enjoys being around children more than Ephraim Ballard, but the handling of Jonathan will not be pleasant. As far as I'm concerned, my husband cannot get home soon enough. Where is it, Cass Marie? I don't know if I've ever experienced this. Where a literature that you really enjoy reading, it it's a new foundation of like drinking water from a thirst that you have, um not psychologically, more of a figurative thirst, if you will. And the thirst becomes more developed with the more you read. Yes. This might come to you guys as a shock. It might come to you guys as a shock. But yesterday, I I asked Alexa if Labrador retrievers, because I have a black lab, she's my daughter, Cass. Cass is my baby girl. I'm like, do Labrador retrievers love to catch? Oh yes, they do. He's been doing it since she was. It is odd to be in Ephraim's space without him. He's gone over a week, but it still smells of him. Yet without his voice and his constant fluttering of Percy's wings, the mill feels abandoned. No matter, there's the ink on his work table, along with a jar of new quills and the rest of his tools. Ephraim's Ephraim's straw blade and revenge sit in a neat row with chisels and handsaws, clean and oiled, precise, just like the man who helps them. I do my best not to mess with his things while he's gone, but I do pull a bluish gray quill from the jar and press the sharp tip against the pad of my thumb. Come here, come here, come here, come here. You little stinker, Babaroosh. My baby stinker. My husband has been collecting feathers for a week before he left. Some from the loft where Percy now roosts, but others from the forest. One can't simply dip a feather into the ink and write, however. Ephraim prepares each quill by hand. I'd I'd watch him strip the lowest, finest feathers and place the shafts into the ashes of the wood stove to harden. He looked at me, winked, laughed, and said, I wouldn't mind if you hardened my shaft tonight. I had no intention of waiting until nightfall, but didn't it until mention it then, or the quills would be ruined. I simply returned his leer and watched as he took the feathers and laid them on his work table. He flattened the shafts slightly until they took on an oval shape, then rounded the tips with his fingers. It didn't take it didn't take long for them to cool, only moments. Then he shaved off the points at an angle with his knife, followed by a slit at the top so that the ink will draw into the shaft. Such simple things, paper, quill, and ink, but I cannot imagine more tangible symbols of my husband's love. I miss him, and there is much I want to tell him, but no ability to do so yet. I spread my journal open on the work table, mixed the ink, and dipped my quill instead. Monday, April 19th. Clear morn, cloudy afternoon. The wind very chilly. Mr. Ballard is still in Boston. My girls are at the Hook. My boy is also. I cannot say why it is so important that I make this daily record. Perhaps because I have been doing for years on end. Or maybe, if I'm being honest, it's because these markings of ink and paper will one day be the only proof that I have existed in the world, that I have lived and breathed, that I loved a man and the many children he gave me. It is not that I wanted to remember per se. I have done nothing remarkable, not the standards of history at least. I am here, at, and these words are the mark I will leave behind. So yes, it matters that I continue this ritual. The ink is still wet on the page, and I leave it open on the table to dry. I'll collect everything later. When I get home for when I get home for when I get home. For now, my conscience burns. I must go see Lydia North. The tonic is in my medical bag. It weighs but a few ounces, yet to me it may as well be an anchor, for it feels as though I'm dragging the full weight of my conscience up the front steps at Joseph North's house. Remember? Remember, she's going to go see his wife, the guy that was cleared of all charges for raping Rebecca Foster, who's 8 months pregnant. Mm-hmm. Still, I knock one, twice, three times. I pound the knuckle of my right hand against the wooden door. Finally, after several minutes, it is answered by Lydia. I can see I awoken the woman. Her hair is mussed and her eyes watering, and there are pillow creases along her right cheek. Martha, she says, weary, what are you doing here? I have come to bring your tonic. But I thought I was wrong, I tell her, and I'm sorry for being cruel. Will you let me in? Oh, gosh, darn it. I'm stiff because I really slept wrong last night. I told a friend I would rather be stiff from here down to my upper back across my shoulder blade than have a urinary infection. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some more coffee. Mm. This book is getting better and better. It's got a nice pace, nice tone to it. Some foul language, some French to it. You know what's really noticing lately is that every book that I'm reading has a little bit of French in it. But then again, we're the English language is a melting pot of multiple languages. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The house is dark, all the shades drawn when Lydia leads me through the front door and into the parlor. It's not a manor home, far from it, but one of the largest houses in the Hook. That is what it's called, North Manor. It sits against a large sweep of hill on the west side of Water Street, overlooking the river. 4 full bedrooms upstairs, a kitchen, study, sitting room, and dining room. Downstairs, there are glass windows and velvet curtains and wood floors, but I can think only of the fact that Joseph North purchased this house with bounties paid on the heads of his enemies. I wonder if Lydia knows or if she cares. Do sit down, Lydia tells me. I can build a fire. No need. I won't stay long. I lower myself on the sofa beside her. Where's Joseph this evening? Lydia shrugs. Out for an evening walk? Oh, if you guys care or not, um, the pillow I have behind me came from my mother's suite, and behind me is the suite that I do a lot of things in. I take showers in, I dilate, yeah, all that stuff. But anyhow, this pillow right here, Hug a Heart, before before it was um Aspirus Wassa Hospital, it was or Aspirus Hospital in Wassa, it was Wassa Hospital. And I was one of the first babies that was born in that hospital. Anyhow, the reason why I'm showing this to you is guess what? It's got the day before September 11th. This is the day that my mother went in for a massive heart attack. Yep. Oh yeah. Monday, September 10th, 2001. And on the back, it has a heart with all of the mapping. Hmm. And everybody on there. Yep. And yep. And I put it back in December of 09. I put my name on there too. Yeah. It's one of the very many things I have on my mother left. Mm. Anyhow, where am I? It's best that way. I haven't seen him since the trial and certainly don't want to run into him now. How have you been? Worse. I wish it wasn't so, but the headaches every day, sometimes for hours at a time. Joseph is so patient with me, but I know that they wear on him as well. I should I should have come sooner. I'm sorry for that. Lydia looks at her fingers. They are long and thin, like twigs. She flexes them several times before answering. It hasn't been fair for a lot of us. The medical bag sits at my feet, and I lean down to sift through the contents. Each time it's as familiar to me as the faces of those I love. And then let my fingers roam, looking for the right one. There. It's small, with a slender neck and a wooden cork. The bottle feels cool against my palm. When I pluck it out of the bag and set it in Lydia's hand, you mustn't take too much, I tell her. Only 2 teaspoons a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. Would you like me to get you the first one? Please, stay here. I'll get a spoon. I leave her head tilted against the sofa. The kitchen is small and tidy, located in the back of the house, and I find what I'm looking for in a small basket on the counter. A set of Tudor spoons, neatly stacked, everything in its place. The house feels sterile to me, devoid of all life and noise and chaos that I'm accustomed to. Here, I say, once I'm back in the city room, as I finally spoon, as I finally, as I carefully pour a spoonful of tonic and tip it into Lydia's mouth. You should feel better soon. She swallows a pale amber liquid. Thank you. I expect her to shudder, but the tonic is bitter and the reflex is normal. But on Lydia's thin frame, it looks like a seizure. I watch her carefully for a moment to make sure she is well. Let's get out of the out. Let's get you to bed. Rest will help. Lydia lifts an arm, flapping absentmindedly at the ceiling upstairs. Can you get there on your? Mm, all right, oh, much better. Yeah. Oh, she she can get there under her own power, but I follow her up the stairs just in case. The last thing I need is for Lydia to take a dizzy tumble. But once at the top, she guides me down the hallway and into the bedroom she shares with her husband. I help Lydia into bed and draw up the blanket. The woman looks so small and frail, in so much pain. She mutters her thanks, is asleep within moments. Oh, is it? Oh my goodness, Cass, I love you too. Oh, oh, you'd be so embarrassed to give live in my pajamas. Wow, really? Aren't you nice? You are so sweet. I appreciate your vulgarity. And you left. Ronald Reagan, rim jobs. Really, dude? Sit and spin. God. You know, let me tell you all this. Okay, let me tell you all this. If you've got nothing to say that is nice, bleep off. Yeah, bleep off. I'd be so embarrassed to go live in my pajamas while my house looked like a heap of garbage. Well, you know what? It's not a heap of garbage. You can fuck off and die. Any more assholes that want to say something? By all means, say it. I don't care anymore. I really don't give a fuck. I don't. If you're going to be a mean pisher, by all means. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe you live in a museum. Do you live in a museum, asswipe? Do you? Do you live in a mansion? Do you? Let me ask you that. I'm not mad. I'm just, at first I was a little mad, upset. But now it's like, you know what? Yeah, typical. Very typical. Yeah, you leave. Anyway, this is more important than you. By the way, what if my house is garbage? Seriously. Anyway, um, I help Lydia into bed and draw up the blanket. The woman looks so small and frail, and in so much pain. She mutters her thanks, and is asleep within moments. I've known only two other women who suffer from the dreaded migraine. I like how they say that. Mygrey and migraine. But neither were debilitated. When the headaches descend upon Lydia, she is all but crippled, requiring a cold, dark room and no interference. Watching her now, I regret my cruelty. The woman is suffering, and I had no right to deny her any form of relief, regardless of what her husband has done. Let me know. Let me know when you need more. I tell her. I set the bottle and teaspoon on the small bedside table, and tiptoe from the room, down the hall, back to the parlor. I collect my medical bag and am almost at the entrance when I see that North has left the door to his study open. Actually, you know, I'm going to report his ass. Yeah. We'll see if YouTube does anything about it. But I'm sorry, you know, if you're gonna be a jackass, don't come onto my live feed. This is for decent human beings. Let me know what. Okay. I would have thought him a tighter man, but no. There are papers litter across his desk, books cracked open at the spine. On every flat surface, the small paneled room smells of pipe smoke, dust, old books, and a candle wax. North has a straight back chair and a bookcase behind the desk. There is a wooden trunk beneath the window, and on the far wall, a side table with a decanter and two crystal glasses. The candles are burned to an inch, and I reach out to touch one on his desk. There are flakes of rosemary and lavender and oud wax. They're mine, I think. I made these. Of all the things to give me pause, just a candle. A simple thing, but a reminder that I am a woman who makes and heals. Not a woman who snoops and schemes. But if not me, who? If not now, when? I turn intending to leave, but my gaze falls on his desk. It is an orderly sort of chaos. Letters, surveys, and maps are strewn across the polished wood surface. Many of them are in Ephraim's hand. All of them relate to North's work with Kennebec proprietors. I recognize the map of Hollowell and the survey of our property. There is a letter only partially drafted in North's handwriting. I left it from the desk, read it aloud. As per our discussion, oh, by the way, there, that's what I think of those comments. Sorry. But you know what? That's what I think of those comments. Oh. Uh, oh my goodness. It's right there. I turn intending to leave, but my gaze falls on its desk. It's an orderly sort of chaos. Letters, surveys, and maps are strewn across the polished wood surface, many of them in Ephraim's hand, and all of them relate to Norse works with the kind of proprietors. I recognize this map of Hopewell and survey our, our of our property. Well, there's a letter, only partially drafted. It's Norse handwriting. I lift it from the desk, read it aloud. As per our discussion last month in Boston, please find enclosed land surveys of 300 acres between Mill Creek and Burnt Hill. I think you'll find the lumber quantity and the access to the river meet your growing needs to supply the shipyards in Boston. I'm ready to assume the lease immediately, and as agreed, I will take ownership of the aforementioned neglected Ballard lease. 12 years to the prorated, 12 years to be prorated to myself, and the deed finalized in April. Having a closer proximity to the property will better allow me to supervise the clearing of this forest. I stand there, paralyzed, gripping the letter. He has intended to take our land all along, and not just ours. He wants half of Hollowell. The realization is sickening. But I am out of time because I hear the sound of boots on the porch, and then the front door swings open. Lydia, North, North, North's voices echoes through the first floor. He is 12, perhaps 15 feet away from me when I make the decision. My last seconds are spent stuffing the letter into my medical bag. I am at the table, decanter in hand, when he steps through the door, hip to a study. What are you doing in here? North demands, his voice laced with fury and contempt. He sat me. Cicero growls low in his throat. When I turn, I lift one of his crystal glasses. A finger of amber liquid sloshes at the bottom. Brandy for your wife? It will help settle the tonic in her stomach. The dog takes a menacing step toward me, and I see a freshly healed wound on his head, a long, jagged pink scarf that runs diagonally across his snout. No doubt I run in with a sharp set of talons. Well done, Percy, I think. I do not apologize for being in his study, not ask not ask his permission as I brush past him, nor ask permission as I brush past him. And go up the stairs, medical bag tucked in right beneath my arm. He follows closely behind, furious, glare burning into the back of my head as I wake Lydia and help her drink the brandy. Once more, I give instructions for the tonic, and again, Lydia thanks me for coming. I neither look at North on my way out of the house, nor do I wish him farewell, for I do not trust myself to speak. Are you back? Are you back? Are you back? If you're back and brave enough, say something in the chat. I'd love to hear from you again. Sorry, I'm not in my princess gown for the day. I know you're here, so say something. Say something. Mm. Pollard's Tavern. How much do I have left now? Author's note. We could probably do author's note too, but otherwise we have Alexa, what is 415 minus 354? 61 pages, guys. 61 pages. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do 60 more pages? What book am I reading next? So, hold on. I'm going to take a break from the reading this, and I will bring the books, the book, and the books that I got from have from the library. They're in the bedroom. No, I'm not taking them to the bedroom. Just my books. Okay, this is what I picked up yesterday. Yes, right here. I'm taking a break from this book for a second. But this I picked up yesterday. So basically, Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh, right? She will kill your worst enemy. All you have to do is kill hers. One dark evening on New York City's Upper West Side, two strangers meet by chance over drinks. Amy and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and the intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed their families. As they talk into the night, they come up with a perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband Scott is invaded. She's attacked by a man with piercing blue eyes who disappears into the night. Will Ruth ever be able to feel safe again with the blue-eyed stranger is still out there? All these stories collide in the Hitchcockian and heart-racing psychological thriller. Interesting. Yeah. And how many pages? This is 300 and how many pages are you? 338 pages. So that's that one. And the other book that I wanted to read is this book by Caitlin Mullen. Please See Us. I want to read it before it has to go back. In the sophisticated suspenseful debut, reminiscent of Laura Lipman and Chloe Benjamin, two young women become unlikely friends during one fateful summer in Atlantic City. As mysterious disappearances hit dangerously close to home. Okay. Summer has come to Atlantic City, but the boardwalk is empty of tourists. The casino lights have dimmed, and two Jane Does are laid out in the marshland behind the Sunset Motel, just west of town. Only one person even knows they're here or they're there. Meanwhile, Clara, a young boardwalk psychic, struggles to attract clients for the tarot readings that pay her rent. When she begins to experience very real and disturbing visions, she suspects that she could be related to the recent cases of women gone missing in town. When Clara meets Lily, an ex Soho art gallery girl who is working at a desolate casino spa and reeling from a personal tragedy, she thinks Lily may be able to help her, but Lily has her own demons to face. Well, of course she does. I don't know. It's a brand new book. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay. And then also the other books that I picked. This is one of them that I got too that I want to read. You can tell if it's usually an older book or not. And the other thing about it is that you can tell if it's read a lot because the books will tell a story all by themselves. You know where they go. You know what houses that they dwell in, what places that they dwell in for the time that the people have them. They will tell a story. But this one is by Amy Tamblyn. Any Man is a gender bending, brilliant blowtorch of a debut novel, amplifying the complexities of sexual violence and the radical cost of survival. This book changes everything. Okay. In this electric and provocative debut novel, Amber. Okay, yeah. Okay, this might have some trigger warnings too. It might. It might because it says right here, blends genres of poetry and prose with elements of suspense to give shape to the shocking narratives of victims of sexual violence and maps the destructive ways in which society perpetuates rape culture. A violent serial rapist who goes by the name Maud is on the loose. She hunts for men at bars and the person I think of Maud is, back when B. Arthur was Maud, um, bars and online, the place doesn't matter, neither does the man. Her victims then must grapple with the aftermath of their assault, doubts from the police, feelings and shame and alienation from their friends and family, and the haunting of a horrible woman who becomes the phantom of which society projects its greatest fears, fascinations, and even misogyny. All the while, the police are without leads, and the media hounds the victims, publicly dissecting the details of their attack. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Oh my goodness, Cass. And then we got one more to look at, and then we'll go back to the other books. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Look. I like that. I do. I do. And the last one I'll share with you guys, and we're going to go back to the Frozen River, is this one. Legend Born, a searing modern tale of grief, power, and self-discovery. Danielle Clayton. Yeah. This is a oh good Lord. A YA. So we'll see. When the shadows rise, so will the light. When blood is shed, blood will call. By the king's table, before the others might orders might, but by our eternal oaths, the line is law. Okay, are we ready to go back to the other book? Okay. Let's go back to the other book and finish the other book. I'm gonna warm up my coffee. And we can finish the book. Do what diddy dum diddy do. Do what diddy dum diddy do. Do what diddy dum diddy do. She walked it. Da 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 da. It's snowing, it's snowing. It's snowing, it's snowing. Oh. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. All right, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. There we go. There we go. Are we ready to go back to reading the rest of the book? There we go. Ah, there we go. Ah, Pollard's Tavern. My hands are trembling when I push through the door to Pollard's Tavern. I need a moment to gather myself before riding home, and I also need a whiskey, or perhaps two. Mr. Spallard, is everything all right? Moses follows as I make my way through the crowd toward the empty seat in the tavern. I nod. But don't speak. I dropped the stool. I dropped to the stool with a huff. All the tables are full and the atmosphere is merry, loud. There are more people here tonight than usual. I listen to the laughter and chatter as I settle into the solitary place in the corner. One of two rickety stools arranged beside an old wine barrel for a table. It's where Amos and Abigail usually perch, but they are bustling around the taverns, busy with their guests, and I know they won't mind me taking their place. I'll take a whiskey if you have it, I'll tell Moses, and whatever your mother has made for dinner. 'Tis stew and bread, he says, eyeing me with a concern, but tonight she has cheese as well, along with roasted chestnuts. That sounds good. Okay, I'm coming. Stew sounds really good. For lunch. Yes. I wag a hand at him in approval. All of it, please. I relax for a moment, face pressed into my hands, and when I finally look up, it is what it is. It is into the quizzical gaze of my daughter, Hannah. Dolly sits beside her at one of the tables. Cyrus and young Ephraim are here as well. Their backs are to me, and each of them look like Ephraim from behind. Oh my gosh, Cass. Oh, wow, that really drains it. Holy cow. My phone was almost 100%. Now it's at 38%. These lives really drain the phone. Holy crap. Well, I don't want. Well, yeah. I'll let you guys know how it turns out. But anyway, I wanted to let you guys know how that was going. And until I get something that I can actually use for live, so my phone doesn't get drained. I bid you all a great day. And I hope that everybody stays comfortably where they are and be safe above all else. Love you all. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.